Okay everybody, so I got some parts here today. I had to order online my case for my new NAS that I'm going to do, and I went ahead and went with a ITX, mini ITX form factor. So I had to get a mini ITX case. I wanted to get something very nice, something that would cool, be eye appealing in case this gets put inside of a living room or something like that. So I went with the Fractal Design Node 304. You can see it's still in a box. I haven't even opened it. This arrived today via Newegg. Overnight shipping. I didn't even pay for it. Ordered it one day, came in the next. So right on Newegg. Way to go. And with tax and everything, I think it came out to 107. So now we got to get some stuff to put in this thing. And I went ahead with the Gigabyte Z97N Gaming 5 motherboard, even though this is not going to be a gaming system. It is part of their ultra durable line. I guess it does quite a bit of burn-in and testing on it and stuff like that before it gets put in the box. The reason why I went with this is because it has basically enough SATA ports. I had a hard time finding a box or a board today that had more than 4 SATA on a mini ITX board. So this has 5. So this is going to give me 4 for my RAID 10 RAID array that I'll be using, and then the extra one will be for an SSD drive I'm going to use for a boot. So I'm not going to go through all the specs on this. Obviously you can look this up online. It's a very nice board. It's one of their new ones they came out with, so I'm pretty excited to get it going. It does have the 1150 socket on it. Supports I think up to the latest Gen 5 of the Intel Core series. I had a lot of flexibility there as well, and it does support DDR3 1600 RAM. So I had to get something for that as well. So the CPU I went with, Intel Core i5. This is the 4590. I didn't go with the 4690. They had this on sale, and so that's the way I went. You can see there's the actual CPU there. This I think is a 3.4. Let's take a look here. There we go. 3.3 gigahertz with 6 meg cache. It's a true 4-core. It's not hyper-threaded. So I think this should be sufficient enough. 3.3 gigahertz, 4-core, 6 meg cache for basically a NAS box that I'll be running, and I'll put Plex on it for a little bit of streaming and stuff as well. So to make sure it lasts long and runs cool, I went ahead and I'm going to do something besides a stock cooler, and I went with this Coolmaster Hyper 212 Evo. The box obviously is a lot bigger than the cooler, which is a good thing. But according to the specs on the Fractal Design site, this cooler should sit in there just fine, and I should have plenty of clearance. And obviously it does a little bit better cooling than the stock one. It comes with some grease and stuff in there as well, so I can put that on there. To kind of power things up, I did find a Antec 450 ATX case with the measurements that'll fit inside this case as well, the Fractal Design case there. So we got to watch out for that. It does support ATX power supplies, but you got to watch out for the length on that, especially if you're going to be doing extra long gaming cards in there and whatnot. That's not going to be a problem for me, so I should just be fine here on that. It is 80 plus, so hopefully it lasts long, and it says it's quiet as well, so we'll see about that. So that should take care of our power supply needs there. It should have enough SATA ports, and of course the plug-in for the motherboard and stuff like that's all compatible as well. So very happy with that. Also, for the boot drive on this, they had a sale again. Samsung loved their SSD drives. This is the 850 Pro. It's a 128 gig drive, and this is going to be my main primary operating system and temp swap drive, and then all the other SATA ports I'm going to have 4 NAS drives, spinning platter drives, to build my array with. So that'll be nice. I also got some extra cables while I was down there. I want to make it look nice too, so I got some 4 red cables for the 4 NAS drives, and then I'll do like a blue cable or something like that for the SSD. I do have an extra blue cable I know of that's good in another box, so if not, then the motherboard comes with black cables in there as well, so I might have to use one of those. Things I didn't get today that I'm going to use out of my used parts bin that I will replace soon is the memory. So I have a couple 2 gig sticks, which is a 4 gig set of Patriot DDR316. So this is going to get me up and running today at least, and I'll upgrade later to a 8 gig kit. I'll probably do the Crucial Vengeance series or something like that. So something very stable, very nice. I do want a little bit more than 4 gig. If this was an 8 gig set, I would just use it, but it's not. So, and then to play with my RAID array a little bit, I'm going to use just a couple Western Digital 500 gig drives that I've had that I used for another purpose and I decommissioned. They're like brand new. They're just, I barely even used them. So I put one of my kids' PC to store stuff along with his SSD drive, but for long-term storage there. I did put one of those in there for him to store files, and then I have another one in the drawer still, and then I have these 2, so I had 4 altogether. So I'm just going to use these 2 and probably stripe out in a RAID 0 for now, just so I can play with speeds and stuff like that, which should be a simulation of my RAID 10. With 2 drives being striped and 2 being mirrored in the 10. This one will only have the striping, so I'll have no redundancy, but who cares? I'm just going to play with it. I'm not going to really put any files on it or anything other than just to test I/O with. That is pretty much it. So it's time to unbox everything. I think I pretty much got what I'm looking for here, and we'll start putting things together, see how it all works. Hopefully reading all the specs and doing a little research, everything should go in fine. So we're about to find out. Okay, I got my case unboxed, and I just pulled the cover off. There's 4 thumb screws in the back that just allow the whole cover to come off of it, so you got easy access. This is a pretty small case, as you can see. I put my arm up there. So, it's not even as long as my arm, and there's the height for a little bit of comparison. So you can look the measurements up. Again, it's the Fractal Design Node 304 case. The reason why I got this case, because if it's small, but it does hold the drives that I want. So each of these cases here unscrew and they slide up, and you can put 2 drives in each. So there's 2, 4, 6 drives that you can put in these holders here. And then they slide back in. The rubber mounting grommets in here and stuff like that. So you put the drives in. They face back towards the rear of the casing. Put your cables on it. Then you have this room down here, which of course, if we turn the case around, your power supply slides into here as well. So that's the area for the power supply. This is where the exhaust is going to be. So all my cables are going to hang out back here on this side. So there's a lot of cables in here. Cable management is going to be tough because it's cramped quarters. But we can use some zip ties and whatnot. And I think tuck all this back in here. Since I don't have the extended video card, I'm just going to use onboard. What was on my motherboard, because it's not a graphics machine. Matter of fact, it's pretty much going to be headless. Once I get it up and running, I'm just going to SSH into it. There's no GUI. I'm doing minimal install of CentOS 6.6 on it, and then put all my packages on that way. So it should be pretty nice there. It's got the fan controller on the back here, 3 different speeds, voltages, and there's the plugs for them. Nice thing is it's got 3 fans already in here. I guess they're like liquid bearings or something like that, they say. They're very quiet and they last quite a bit, so that's good. So you got a big, I think it's a 140, 120 in the back, and then you got a couple, I think there's 2 80s in the front there. So you got a lot of air moving. You know, these suck in from the front, push to the back, and then this pushes out the back. So you have some pretty decent airflow there. It goes across your drives. And with the motherboard in there, CPU in the middle with the fan, I think should stay pretty cool. So I'm kind of liking this already. So I need to go ahead and pull these covers off the top and you know, look at my motherboard, get it all in there, and see what we can do. Also, anything about it is it's got this extension or a cable here for the power supply, right? Well, it's all zip tied up there, so you can't really see it, but the power plugs into the back here, and then the cable comes down. It's got like a little L on it here, which plugs into the power supply up here, right? So there's the here's my L right there, a little angle, and then plugs into the power supply here. So all this will be covered up, and you won't even be able to see it there. It's got a nice power button right here. You can barely see it. A couple USB 3s. Got a header and a cable in there for that. It's got some audio jacks and stuff too, which I won't be using, but there it is anyway. But I will take advantage of the USB 3 and plug that in the front. So in case I have to do anything on it, I can just walk up to the front of it, plug a mouse and keyboard in, and of course I'll have to get around the back and plug a monitor in if I can't get into it remotely. But I got some different options there, so kind of nice. I really like the case. It seems very solid, very compact. It's going to be a different build for me. I usually build, you know, in a bigger box, so I have lots of room, bigger cases, but it's going to be fun. So we'll see. Okay, I've taken the drive cages out and moved the cables out of the way, kind of getting ready for a board install. Then I'll put in the power supply. But before I install the board, I got to put my I'm going to put my CPU, fan, RAM in it, stuff like that, so I can just drop it in. So here's the motherboard unboxed. Looks pretty snazzy there. They did some cool coloring on it. Don't really care too much about that. I just hope it's very reliable and fast. Again, one of the reasons why I got this, I got 4 SATA ports here, and then I have an additional SATA port right there as well. So that gives me 5. So the first 4, SATA 0 through 3, that will be for my disk array, and then I'll use my SATA down here for OS and boot. So pretty slick. I got a couple DDR3 slots in here. Using both of those, dual channel. Might as well take advantage of that, right? And this doesn't have a dual Gigabit Ethernet, but you know, speed-wise doesn't really matter unless you've got multiple people on your network. Two Ethernet NICs bonded really doesn't give you a speed increase for one machine anyway. So since I won't be doing any gaming on this or adding really any other cards, I got this expansion slot here. It is a PCIe 3.16 full card, so it's one of the better slots you can get. And maybe someday I'll go 10 gig Ethernet in there and get a switch, and I can put one in my machine, and then I can play with it as well. So, but of course that's way down the road. Comes with a couple SATA cables. Like I said, we got these red ones over here that I got. Might use one of the black ones if I can't find my blue one for the SSD. So I'll put those over there. Got a nice little header there for it, little backing plate. I need to put that in the case first before I put my board in. Can't forget that, or then I got kind of a space in there that I really don't want. So installation book, we'll be going through that, and then it's also got a BIOS setup book in here as well. You got some Gigabit drivers, and then you got some software as well in here as well they come with. So, and of course it even comes with this really cool ultra durable Gigabit sticker, which I will not be using. Bye. So anyway, there we go. Next is like I said, CPU, fan, and memory in it before we drop in the case. Okay, well, I have the CPU, cooler, thermal grease, memory, all in here. As you can see, the damn cooler's as big as the motherboard. So I wasn't really planning on that, but that's the way it turned out. So this obviously should keep it very, very cool. This is a nice, definitely a nice cooler. The instructions were really bad, I thought. So I got online. Thank God for Google and all the other fellow techs that share information. A lot of good videos on how to put this in properly, how much thermal grease to put in, what to look for RAM clearance issues. I mean, all kinds of good stuff. So I watched about 4 or 5 videos, and they were all covering the same stuff, doing the same method. Talked about alignment checks and whatnot, so you could just drop this sucker in and it'd be done. And so I followed their direction, and the way it went, really good. So lucky for me, when I get ready to do the other memory in here, as you can see that this won't come out because of the fan, but this fan just clips off. It just snaps right off, and then I have a straight up and down shot for my memory. So I'll be able to upgrade the RAM there. I went ahead and positioned the fan where the cord was at the top, so I could just kind of drape it over and plug it into the CPU the fan, CPU fan slot on the motherboard. So I don't have any, dangling wires or anything. I don't know how that is for cosmetics, but I can always flip it around if I want. So any case, there it is. CPU in, cooler with thermal grease, fan on the cooler, some memory on it. So I'm going to take a look at everything else I got going on, and probably drop this in the case here, and then we'll do the power supply. So, all right, back to you soon. Okay, a couple things to note here. This setup is so tall for this case, it's barely going to work. But I can't even slide the board in, so they've got this bar that goes across here for support. Luckily, there's a couple screws on each side. That comes out, so I can drop it in from the top down on there. So putting in my risers, and they started, but they don't screw in by hand, so I had to go get and that one's starting to move. They're just nice and tight. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So I got this little socket set here, so I'm going to screw those down as well. I also noticed that this riser is so close to the front. I went ahead and pulled that fan out of here so I could have easy access and mount everything. Then I can just drop the fan back on top and put the 4 screws in there, put my cross member across the top. Luckily, the cooler should sit just in front of the bar. If not, then I'm going to be kind of in a world of hurt, but we'll figure it out. If not, I'll have to go get another cooler. All right, bye. Okay, so what do I have? I have a fully mounted motherboard with all the goodies on it. And the bar fit in there just fine. Still got a little clearance there. Top of the case will be on there. Really nice. I've got all my screws in. There's only 4. Cooler is really on there, nice and tight. No wiggle at all. I bottomed all the screws out just like they're supposed to be. So far it's looking pretty good. Everything's fitting. I will say one thing: with such a small case, it's pretty cramped in here. That's for sure. So we'll do some cable management with all these cables. We'll get these out of the way, hook them up to the fan, tie them off somehow. And so I think next is the power supply. We're gonna have to get that in here so we can start putting some juice to this baby. And once I see a post, then I can start putting drives in it and everything. So it's looking good, man. I like it so far. Yeah, looks pretty awesome. I still got to put the fan back in there. I got that right here. So we'll drop that back in the front too as well. So I'll get it to post first. So that's it. See you in a bit. All right. As you can see, we're running out of parts. I still have some more stuff to put in. I don't even have a drive in it yet. But let's go over here. Take a look at what we got. So I went ahead and got the power supply in. That was fairly easy. I just dropped it in from the top, straight on down, then slid it over into the brackets here. and then there's four screws. Hold that in and plug the little extension cable in, and then you can plug it in over here on the outside. So when the case is on, though, you don't have access to the on-off switch on the power supply itself, but I don't think there's going to be a big need for that on this particular machine. So all I did was plug in the CPU power, and then the system board power as well, this giant cable here. And then the only other one I plugged in was the power switch from the front panel onto the motherboard, so I could hit the power button and turn it on. So I don't have any speakers on or hard drive lights, or I don't have any of the audio stuff hooked up, USB 3, I don't have any of that, but I just wanted to see if we can get it to post and make sure everything spins. I also don't have, I got the system fan out still right here, but I don't even have these two plugged in yet either. So the only fan that is running is the CPU fan. And you can see here's the BIOS for it. And you can see the CPU temp is running pretty good at 34 idle, but my fan speed's only 830 something RPM. So obviously we could turn that up a little bit and get things cooler, but that's not bad if it's below 35 at an idle for this particular CPU. I'm happy with that. I mean, it's not water cooled or anything. We'll do some more testing under full load and stuff once we get it all built up, see how it goes. I know that the thermal grease and everything else, it usually, takes several hours of burn-in before things kind of, hook up there. And I notice my temperatures do drop after I build a PC, after, the first several hours of running it. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But, it's well within norms now. And pretty much on the BIOS here, I just put everything system default. I didn't overclock anything. I mean, so all my voltage, my memory timing, everything, all auto, all, where it's supposed to be. So I want this extremely stable. That was the idea. So no problem there. So I don't have any hard drive in it or anything, so it really won't, quote, boot up. But at least it does post and come up to a BIOS and let me know that I don't have a hard drive. So here's the sound test with just the CPU fan on. And that is dead silent in this room. No fans, no AC on, no nothing. And I got my camera phone Nexus 6 jammed right up into the CPU with the fan on. So very quiet, whisper quiet. And when you put the case on, you won't even be able to hear it even when you're next to it. You're definitely going to need a light on to see that. So if the other fans are this quiet, mission accomplished on the quietness. So that's pretty nice. I was noticing here on this fan too that it appears to be pulling air from the... I was trying to look at these arrows on here, but I can't really see. Probably because I'm blind, right? I thought the arrow says that it's pushing, but I feel more air coming through it than I do the other way. So I'm going to have to check on this, because if this fan is pushing air this way towards the front of the case, then that's not going to work, because I'm going to have all these other fans up here as well. So I got to follow the direction. Wait, this is the front of the case, exhaust. No, that would be correct. If it is pushing it through the cooler, then I'm okay. Everything's going to be running from the front down through here and out. So if the fan is doing it the other way, then I'm going to have to put the fan on this side. And if I have to switch sides on this side of the radiator for the CPU cooler, I don't know whether I'm going to have enough room to get my other fan in there or not. That's going to be a really close fit. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and finish wiring this up, and hopefully get a hard drive in it, and we can start playing around. I did notice that I ran these wires for cable management. They have these little recesses up here, which are very nice, because then I can put these in here and use zip ties and manage the cables, put them all down. I can wrap all these up in a ball, stuff them in there, tie all these down to the side as well. Also, this is recessed, this bar up here. So if I have to, I could put something up under the bar and then put a zip tie around it and tie it down, and it would be flush with the case, so it wouldn't interfere with the case either. So a lot of different options. You can see here they have places here where you can do cable management, these notches in the case, and then also right here these little loops where you can put zip ties and everything. So the object of this, and you can see right here, you can put these fans up in here as well, these cables. So the object of this is to, have a really nice looking, neat case as well, as being, reliable, efficient. It'd be a nice little piece to show. So any case, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and leave this down around in here so it doesn't interfere with anything. I don't have any zip tie areas down into here, but I think with the one over here on this side, that's just going to hold it fine. Nobody's going to be in there pulling wires anyway. So that's pretty much it for a while. So the next deal I'm going to have is all fully cable managed, all the wires hooked up, probably no hard drive in it. We'll do another look, let you know if I had any difficulties or gotchas, and then after that we'll go ahead and start sticking drives in it. So probably going to take a break for a little bit and see if, let it run for an hour and see if this CPU doesn't, stabilize a little lower. I mean, it'd be great if it was like 32, but we'll see. But the fan's only at 800 RPM too, so it's a big radiator, and it's not even warm at the top. So, and I can't even hardly get my finger down there to see if it's warm on the board. It's just barely a little bit warm on the board, man. I mean, just like lukewarm. So this thing is running extremely cool at the moment. This chipset is warm as well, just warm, not even hot. That one's not even warm. So memory's not even warm. So yeah, it's going to run really cool. Should last a long time. I did a really good choice on this power supply. I shopped around and I got one that measured a little bit shorter than the other ones. So this is going to leave me room here for cable management. And if by some odd chance I did have a long video card, a full-length video card, it would go into here and it would come all the way back to here, and I would have plenty of room. It would not get any interference in there at all, because it's not modular, so things don't plug in. Modular ones have plugs all the way right here, and they got the black plastic that comes out. Sometimes that'll interfere. I watch a lot of videos on that with guys trying to build gamer machines out of this case. It gets really difficult with that video card, especially with the wrong power supply. So anyway, that was it. Bye. Okay, so a lot's happened since my last video. I got things kind of sit in there. I haven't really done any cable management or anything. I do have the SSD drive installed in there, and I booted off a USB stick for a CentOS 6.6 and did the install, and lo and behold, I ran into an issue. It's been so long since I had any type of compatibility issue with network cards. I didn't even think to look at the compatibility of what network card was on board with the operating system. So this is some new card, Qualcomm card, that also has the a Wi-Fi tied into it. You can see here there's Wi-Fi adapters here. It's got an antenna and everything in a box, but wasn't planning on using it. So no big deal there. But until I figure out where the drivers are at and download, and I got to probably compile them and get them installed on here, I kind of cheated and I went back to Fry's and I bought a little $14 network card. And where's the box for that? Do I have it? Here it is. I just bought a little TP-Link PCIe card and a PCI Express card in here. You can see it's just got a couple little tabs on it there, and of course I had to waste this slot, which is no big deal anyway. I had nothing to put in it, but I put the network card in this slot there. You can see 3/4 of it is still empty. But in any case, that booted up. I did a quick config for that interface on there, and lo and behold, I am terminaled in on my Windows station here. You can see that's Windows. I'm running PuTTY, and I just ran top on this. You can see it's just idling. I'm not even using 300 meg of RAM, and my CPUs are 0. Nothing's going on with this thing. So in any case, so that's where I'm at now. So what I'll do is probably leave it like it is for the night with the network card. If I got time later, I'll spend on it, but definitely tomorrow I'll try and figure out all these drivers, and maybe I'll take this network card back. But I want to kind of, you can see these cables that I bought are just so long, these SATA cables. So I've got all black ones. Over here there's 2 of them, and I know I got at least 3 more, or at least 2 more in a box. Here, I got 2 more in a box in the other room. So let's see if I can match up some cables. But if I can't, then I'll go back to Fry's to take this network card back Saturday or Sunday, and then I'll get a couple more the SATA cables, get them all matched up, and get them short. So I'll probably put it all together, run cable management, everything but the SATA. Then I can just pop those in when I get back from Fry's. Or if I have them tonight, I'll get it done. I'm not sure. But everything's running really cool. I did change the BIOS a little bit, and I put the minimum up a little bit more on the speed, so it's running at, instead of 833 RPM, it's running at 985. So it's still just under 1,000 RPM running. Very, very quiet. All the fans are in. All the fans are running. There's a lot of good airflow coming through here. So we should be good there. And now my CPU temp at idle, looking at the BIOS, is 31, 32 degrees. So, you know, that's pretty decent. And I stepped it up a little bit for the auto sensing. So as the load increases, the CPU will kick in. I think max speed on this CPU fan is 1800. These other fans, if I had them hooked to the system board, then I could get control on those as well, variable. But I think there's only like 1 or 2 fans and controls in there. So I just use the control on the case. So there's low, medium, and high. So I can adjust it that way and change the RPMs on those. So we'll kind of see what it like when everything's together and the case is on and it's, you know, under a decent load. We'll see how the temps are and what the fan flows are, and I can set everything appropriately. So that was my little trouble. Got it back together. So far everything looks pretty good. I just got to get the driver for the onboard Gigabit NIC. Until then, I've got this PCIe card in here, and that's working fine. So that's what I'll use to configure it with. But all my lights work. I'll show you the front of it later, but there's a power light you see, and then the hard drive light is like a little white light that blinks down at the bottom. Looks pretty cool. So again, this is just all the back of it. So once I get it all cable managed and everything, gets a couple other drives in there and build an array, I'll go ahead and spin it around and take another picture of it. So that's it. There's my messy table, right, where I do all my Einstein shit. All right, bye. Okay, everyone. Pretty much done with the build for now, till I get those other drives and the other memory. So I got everything completed as is. Here's the front, very attractive. It's got the top off, of course. Still, I haven't put that on yet. And here's one of the sides there. Did a little cable management. Everything is tucked into the sides and strapped down. So I ain't gotta worry about the case. Here's my CPU fan power cord. Comes off the top of the CPU. And I tied it down inside. That's just a tag on the cord, and then plugs into the board. Here's my monster cooler, or cooler master, not monster cooler, I guess. And it's pretty cramped in here, so I had to get very creative. And for now, because I'm going to pull the other drives in and out, I might have to take this down, so I just used a zip tie in here for the cable management. But I'll zip tie this, or I'm sorry, use a twisty tie, but I will use a zip tie on a more permanent basis there. And then on this side, strapped all these down with a big zip tie, and so I got everything kind of tucked away in there. Got some wires routed up into here, going back up the front panel. As you can see, I still have my other Ethernet add-on card in there. Flip this around a little bit. I don't want to bounce it a whole bunch, huh? Our drive's in it. Oh, there we go. You see that? So I still got the add-on Ethernet card. I was going to take that back today. Matter of fact, I had it in a car and I was going to Fry's. Took back some other stuff, some of those long SATA cables. Because I got the onboard working, but the problem with it is that network card. It's new, and so the OS that I was using, Cent 6.6, the last of the Cent 6 series, has got a 2.6 something kernel in it, and they didn't, Cent/Red Hat didn't include the driver for this onboard network card until the 3. Kernel, which is in Cent 7. So I spent many hours last night researching that, trying to compile a driver on the 6.6. Not a lot of people were having luck with it. I was one of them as well. So I converted everything over to 7 last night, and boom, got the driver working right away. But one of the things that I wanted to do with this was to be an Asterisk box too. So I got all my Samba stuff, NFS, the whole NAS piece working. I pretty much went through everything that I was going to do. All that was working fine. It's just for the Asterisk build on here. I got everything working on that, but I couldn't get the Dottie driver on it, which of course the libPRI is dependent upon that. And so if that doesn't load, then I can't register any SIP phones or anything. Such it wasn't going to work. And again, I tried a lot of downloads and compiling and makes and stuff like that. Still no go. So I just converted it back over to 6, Cent 6.6, and just left this other card in there. Seems to be working okay for the transfer speed right now. It maxes out to Gigabit Ethernet at 100 and something meg. Theoretically, I think you can get up to 117, 120. I think I was getting 113, but I don't have jumbo frames or anything on. So maybe I'll upgrade my little Palm Hub there, switch, and get something with large frames or something like that, and I can get another, meg or so out of it, right? Tweak it out. But that's pretty much it. That's the build. So I put my two 500 Western Digitals in this one, back to back there, and then on the last bay, on the last drive carriage, I put the SSD. So this one's empty for 2 more drives. So I'll be taking out these 2 drives and then putting in 4 Western Digital Reds, probably is what I'm going to go with, the WD Reds. I'll go in 2 terabytes. That'll give me 4 terabytes of storage, and striping for speed, and mirroring for my redundancy on there. But again, with maxing out the Gigabit Ethernet, a single drive pretty much will max that out anyway. I think it's like a 125 megabyte transfer, and for disk I/O, and then I'm getting 113 anyway, so I'm already below that. But I'll go ahead and do that anyway. So it'll be kind of fast for for anything on board that I want to do with it or something like that, internal to the machine. So and of course, if I ever go to 10 gig, it'll be nice to be able to max out my drives across the network, right? That'll be nice. Anyway, so, and then the bus speed on this, of course, is 6 gigabits, bits, 6 gigabit a second. So that's 720 meg. So that's going to be my huge bottleneck right there. So that's if somebody were to go to 10 gig Ethernet. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and box this up, or I guess put the cover on it. Not put it back in the box, but put the cover on it. And I'll do another shot of it when it's all put together with the cover on. And then I'll give you a little samples. I had some stuff going here. We'll fire it back up again and take you through a walkthrough on that and let you see it. That's it. Bye. Okay, folks. So got everything back together. As you can see there, nice little case. I really like the way this came out. Little vent on the side. That's the only vent on it. And in the back there, I just showed you all that already. So nice airflow coming through here. It's barely even, it's not even warm. It's like room temperature maybe. So pretty happy with that. So I've got my Asterisk all set up. Inbound, outbound with the trunk through Vitality. And I got a little screen up here to show you some stuff. One is I have this up here. It's a little computer, a little app called Sensors. And right now I have a little shell script that's running, refreshing every 2 seconds. You can see the clock there. It'll go at 10, there you go. And what it's doing is it's filtering out all the results and just showing the core temps on here, right? So you can see all 4 cores running in the mid 30s, pretty much right through here. That one's getting up 39, 40. It'll drop back down again. It's because I've got some stuff running on it, right? So CPU fan still is really slow. I also have H-top right here showing you the percentage of use on the cores. Also the free memory out of my 4 gig I got in there and what swap drive space is being used. In the background here, this black window, it's called F-top. So it's going to show my interface statistics. And the line that we're going to be looking at is right there. My mouse is 192.168.10.100. That's the network card in the NAS. And over here on this side is the utilization of that. So there's no traffic going over it right now at all. So so it's just kind of sitting here idle. You know, again, temps mid-30s. I got no CPU usage and I got no traffic. So what I did is I made a chunk file, about 9 gig. I'm going to go ahead and paste it over here to my NAS RAID 0 mapped across the network. That's via Samba Share. So what I built an array out of those 2 Western Digital 500 gig disk in a RAID 0. Again, I'll be going with RAID 10 when I get all the new drives, but just for play I did this. And then I mounted that under my file system and then shared it with Samba. So let's go ahead and paste it. And we'll bring this back down. You can see here I'm getting 112 megabytes. That's bytes, right? And on my network here, you can see that it's running about 900 megabits, right? So all that's in line. So we're pretty much maxing out the Gigabit Ethernet there, right? You got a little 10% overhead on it. If you come back over here, well, that's copying. The cores are now low 40s, right? And utilization on the CPU of the NAS still pretty decent, man. This is a full, utilizing a full gig, transferring over 9 gigabit file across the network. So not too bad. It's running pretty smooth, man. Again, temps low, Ethernet interface being used, and 113 megs average now across there. It's a pretty steady line, no big jumps, so really happy with that, even though I got a really cheap hub in there, and I got a $14 network card in the NAS. So you know, I think we'll swap that around a little bit and try to find something better. Again, we're using everything. 40s in the temps, that's awesome. CPU, barely being touched. Okay, that file's over there now. And you can see it here. We'll go properties. Maybe, there we go. 9.27 gig. So, not bad. So now that it's done copying, our network went down to normal. CPUs are back in the 30s. For temperature and then 0% utilization. So that's it. Maybe I'll have some other stuff to show you later, but that's about it for now. Talk to you later.